Hey everyone. I'm live again. I'm sorry I just keep coming live, but this is day 4 of Mental Health Awareness Week, and today's topic for discussion is importance of support group. Now, when I talk about support, don't talk about external support groups or support groups with charity. We'll talk about that as well. What I just want to talk about is friends and family and your loved ones, how you can ask for support, how you can give them support, and what external options are available. So firstly, for me, my support group is definitely my family. So in my family, I have my father, my mother, my sister, my brother-in-law, my fiance, and my 2-year-old nephew as well. So each one of them has a very different role that they play in terms of supporting my mental illness. For my mother, I don't go and tell her how I'm feeling because that usually means she'll start crying and she'll ask me to toughen up and move on. And, that is the kind of advice that I'm not looking for. So when I want some cuddles, I just want, a lot of love and, just a lot of care as well, like someone making sure that I'm fed, I'm drinking properly. That's what the role of my mother is in supporting me for my mental illness, because depression kind of makes you not wanting to do things, wanting you just to stay in bed and do nothing. And sometimes I need my shoulders to be massaged because they become really tight and tough. So that's what I expect, that if she can help me with food, if she can help me massaging my shoulders, that is the kind of support that I look for my mother. uh, because I know that she doesn't have that understanding to understand what I'm going through, my emotions, and which is fine. Like she's not a qualified psychologist or a psychiatrist, and she doesn't have a personal experience of mental health, so she doesn't understand that angle, which is okay. My father's support is more to look out for my medication and make sure I'm taking my medication on time, or if I have any questions or I want to discuss what my psychiatrist said, I discuss it with him. So that is my father's role. He although I try and he also hugs me and comforts me, but when you're crying, you just need your mother. My sister's role is kind of like a pseudo therapist. So when I don't have a therapy session coming up and I need someone to rant and just talk without any judgment and without telling me what to do, that's when I call my sister. And sometimes I will listen to what she has to say, sometimes I don't want to listen to her. So I have categorically told her that when I tell you don't give me advice, you should not do anything and just shut your mouth and listen to me rant and cry. So that's what she does. She will just listen to me. I will just cry my eyes out and just constantly rant and just let go. And sometimes when I'm looking for an advice, I'm looking for someone to jolt me or show me the the true picture. That's when she does that. But I think after 2 years she have kind of started to gauge the situation, that okay, what can I do to help my sister. And that has been because of our relationship, but also because I have told her how to help me in certain situations. um, then yeah, my partner, I think his role is quite important because my family is still based out of India, so most of the time I spend with my fiance. And he plays different roles. He sometimes plays the role of making sure I'm fed, sometimes he plays the role of making sure that I'm getting out of bed. He doesn't really understand feelings a lot. And if I'm saying that, oh, I'm not feeling myself, or I feel really sad, or I feel really anxious, he doesn't really understand why I'm feeling anxious, why do I have anxiety. But again, it's fine because he doesn't have a mental health condition, and he's not he studied aerospace engineering and not psychology, so it's hard for him to understand. But the good thing is that he asks me, what can I do to help you? Or he will say, do you want to sit down and just color together, so that it's a way of de-stressing, but also to kind of let my emotions come on surface. And sometimes we do end up talking for hours. And although he doesn't understand, I've asked him, don't give me your opinion, just say that it must be hard, or things like that, which will comfort me. The reason I am telling you all of this is not because I want to tell you I have an amazing family. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because it took me a lot of time to set correct expectations from all of them, especially when you are diagnosed with a mental illness. I think we keep our parents, we keep our sisters and brothers, and our our partners, our husbands and fiancés on a pedestal, expecting them to understand whatever we are going through, which is always not the case. I've learned it the hard way that they love me. If I'm crying, it will be hard for them to just be like, oh, yeah, cry, whatever, we don't care. They would want to fix things, especially I think our parents. They would want to make sure, okay, how can I make sure you're not crying, or what can I do to fix this. Sometimes they won't be able to fix it because it is a mental illness, and they are not qualified doctors or psychologists or psychiatrists, so nobody can fix it. Illnesses take their own time to kind of become better. So don't have that expectation. And for people who support loved ones, you don't have that expectation from yourself as well. You cannot fix things unless you go and study to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist. But even then, they always say that doctors can should not treat or operate on their loved ones, and there's a reason they say that. There is a reason why we have psychiatrists and therapists in this world, because they provide an unbiased opinion. They look at and they understand that it's an illness which our loved ones may or may not understand. Okay, coming back to my support group, second layer are my friends. I have a lot of friends, and all friends are different in different ways. I have some friends who I can not reply for days and just tell them, being like, you know I'm not feeling myself, and I'm sorry, I will not return your call, I will not talk to you, and I will not respond to your messages, I will not meet you, I'll keep canceling on our meetups. And I have told them that if I continue to do that, that's when you need to kick me and tell me, Ridhima, you've been doing this for a while, why are you isolating? There are friends who go through similar things, so they understand where I'm coming from. There are friends who don't understand this at all, and they are just like, what, or like, why, we don't know what to say and what's the right thing to say. And honestly, it's completely fine. Like, my one of my closest best friends, she lives in another country now. She knows who she is, so I don't need to name her. And we don't talk as often as we used to. She's married now, but I still know that I have that connection with her, and I feel like she understands that as well. So if your friends are going through illness, especially me, if, like depression, I am not talking to you on purpose. I'm not ignoring you on purpose. That's how my illness is. That's how it makes me, become isolated and withdraw myself, because it's very hard for me to come, uh, you know, and talk about what I'm going through, or just getting out of bed sometimes is very hard for me. The way you can support me is probably being a little bit patient. I know it gets annoying if I keep canceling plans, but probably just bear with me. And it doesn't mean that I don't love you or I don't want you in my life. It's just that I feel like I can take the liberty to take the piss and just vanish like that. So yeah, you need to tell your friends how they can support you. If you feel like going out for a walk is something, or going out for a drink is something that will help you, tell them that. But if you feel like being alone and not being spoken to, or being constantly asked, how are you feeling now, how are you feeling now, you know I remember my best friend, she, when I was diagnosed with severe depression, she I mean, it was a new experience for her. She would text me and ask me like, how you're doing, what are the doctors saying. And I told her that I am the patient. You can't keep asking me. Don't talk to me. Like, go and talk to my sister. Like, just categorically, like, asked her to basically just go off. And you know it was not, at that point of time I was like, what the hell, like, what, she doesn't understand. But the thing is, how will she understand? Because she doesn't, nobody, like, this pandemic, nobody was born to like know how to work on things, like, right? And I think mental illnesses are so hidden. Like, physically, if you look at me, if you looked at me at that time, you wouldn't see anything is wrong. But when you look at, if I have a physical injury, you would be like, oh yeah, she can't walk, she's broken her leg. But when I am going through a mental illness, you would never say that, oh, she has something. On the surface it looks there's nothing. So that is your friends and family. Coming on to employees, I chose to be very vocal with my employer about my mental health. And it's completely your personal choice. Read your first of all, I would say you need support from your employee. Okay, the best way to approach this would be, read the policy that is in place for your employer. See what rights you have available as an employee, that you can ask for support. What kind of support is available at my employer? There was, I had insurance, which covered mental illness. I had a separate policy. I had a sick leave policy as well for mental illness as well. So make sure you know all the things that are available for your support before just dismissing the fact that, oh, I'm not going to tell my employer. There is a huge, especially in the UK, there's a huge drive not to discriminate against people with mental illnesses. And there is a huge stigma as well. I remember when I was off work for almost 6 months, I went back to work. My first thing in my mind was, everyone is going to judge me, everyone is going to ask me why I was away. And I chose to own my story and tell them, yeah, I had a mental illness. But work is a very different setup, because people want to support you but they don't know how to support you as well. So this is something that you should definitely work out in terms of speaking to your therapist to see how can you ask for support. And if you feel like your employer is not supporting you, know your rights. As a in mental health, there is a mental health act in India as well. I have educated myself on that. And there are rules are against discrimination for mental illnesses in the UK as well. So make sure that you know your rights. um, Having a mental illness, it is not your fault, so you should not be put, you should not be discriminated against that. And Okay, so I've done family, I've done friends, I've done employer. Support group. So since May 2019, I started volunteering with a lot of mental health charities. That was something that supported me a lot. I think me voicing my opinion is kind of my own therapy, and it empowers me to own my story rather than my story owning me. And I found really similar like-minded people, and a lot of people who would feel connected to what I was saying, or they were in similar situations. So I learned a lot from them as well, in terms of what support is available, what are my rights, how, if I am feeling down or low, I can talk to them because they understand and they have been in a similar position. Not everyone needs to go out and campaign for mental health. I do this, I've done some training, and this is how I've always been a very outspoken, and I like to like talk and be the center of attention. So this is my way of therapy, to be honest with you. So just if you feel like this is something that you want to do, see how you can do it in a safe way. Not just go out and just start talking, do live sessions. Like, make sure you know what you're talking about, feel safe about doing something like this. um and you can even work in the background. Like, there's so many mental health charities. Just another illness, I'm not a registered charity, but if you want to voice your opinion, or want to find your tribe or something, get involved with people, and you anyone can start an Instagram page anonymously and just post whatever they feel like and whatever they want to say. If that is your way of letting out things and talking about things that matter to you, do that. you know and then, yeah, peer support groups. There are a lot of support groups available within the which are sponsored by these charities, which are free. And I know that, because of the pandemic right now, most of them have gone online, or they are, they are with strangers that you don't know how to talk. How can you share your life story with a stranger? Most of them should be guided by a principle of privacy and confidentiality, and if they are not, I would suggest probably not worth going to that support group. Try and find as much you know like-minded people. People who have gone through something similar will be a lot more empathetic and understanding towards your condition, rather than people who have not been there. So try and find a peer support group. Try and find people who will understand what you're going through. I think empathy is really important when it comes to mental health. And find your tribe. I wouldn't say you will connect with every person that you meet, but you will definitely meet similar people. Okay, that's me, 16 minutes of ranting. I will wait for any questions or comments on Facebook or Instagram before I say bye bye. Tomorrow is our day 5 of Mental Health Awareness Week. I'm going to take the weekend off. So tomorrow is the last day, and tomorrow I'm going to cover sleep, food, and exercise. Hopefully, you'll be able to join that and ask me questions. And I loved doing this series because I was able to talk about things that helped me and were important for me. And um, okay, I don't see any questions, so I'll probably shut up. But thank you so much for listening. If you have any feedback for me, feel free to DM me, post in the comments. And thank you so much for everyone, all of my friends and family and employees, and my psychiatrist, psychologist. I think on a public platform, I'm just telling everyone, thank you so much for sticking around. I know my mental illness is not easy. It's not easy for me, it's not easy for you, but we are in this together, and all of us are doing well, and we'll get through all of this together. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.